You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. The art of when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. The mindset that you need to know how to cut the losers fast and let the runners run on tonight's Aftermarket. Welcome to another American Dream Trading's Aftermarket live chat and watch party. I am Dawn, your host, aka J&J Video Reacts, and this is a stream that's been created for you traders to have a place to come to after the market, just to kind of let your hair down, decompress, talk about strategies, talk about what you're doing in your trades, where you need help, where you can help others. This is basically just a forum for traders like you. So welcome. We discuss strategies of Chad Christian, who is the owner of American Dream Trading. He is our coach and mentor, and he teaches us how to trade the right way and not how to just chase call outs. He doesn't hand us fish. He hands us a fishing rod and some bait and the skill to fish on our own. He hands us the proper tools that we need to fish for ourselves. So shout out to you, Coach. If you'd like to join American Dream Trading, all you need to do is go to none other than americandreamtrading.com to get signed up. We have all kinds of packages available for you. And right now we're doing a free trial. So you can get signed up with our premium membership. You can get signed up with our crypto membership or our futures membership. With the premium membership, we focus on stocks and options training and other long-term strategies, depending on which group that you're in. But you will get pre-market setup, levels that you can use at the bell to help you trade. You get IPO Center, hot stock picks of the day, not to mention the end all be all, which is access to our live Zoom call in which Coach actually coaches you. We're not watching him trade. He's literally training us, speaking to us in a one-on-one type style open mic training. So every day, if you'd like to witness this in action, come to this channel at 9 a.m. Weekdays from 9 to 11, Coach goes live with this Zoom call training. And then once he goes off the air, we continue to train the members of the group as moderators. We continue to train the group, all the way up until 4 p.m. when the market closes. And then they come here and hang out and we talk about what we learned for the day. So to be a part of that, go to none other than americandreamtrading.com. If you do choose the premium, you get a 7-day free trial and it renews at its regular rate of $125 a month after that week is up. If you choose crypto has a Zoom call every Wednesday night at 7:15. Chris and Bucko facilitate that. They do an amazingly excellent job teaching you how to trade crypto the right way, of course. And that is $50 a month at its renewal rate. And last but not least, Mark McSee is live every day from 2 to 4. Over in the futures, you can watch him show you how a master works at futures, right? But if you want a futures membership, you can get that for $249 a month. That's a little bit more expensive because it includes our Trading View indicator overlay, which basically helps you in your trades like no other tool you will ever use. So please go over to the website, get signed up. Right now, today, a couple of housekeeping rules. Please make sure you guys smash that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get Coach to 20,000 subscribers. And right now we are sitting at 16,580. So we're right there on the cusp of 17K, right? So tonight, and I know my co-pilot James said he's not going to be here, but in case anybody else wants to come up, Marlena, F2, anybody else, that's down there feels like they want to grace the panel with their presence tonight, I will put the link down there in the chat for you. All right. There we go. And let's get it pasted. Boom, boom, and there we go. So if you'd like to come up, I would love to have you. It's always good to have some company up here on the panel. So tonight, know when to hold them and know when to fold them is the topic of conversation. And what we've been focusing on all week, as we will continue to focus on, is the mental aspect of trading. And entries and exits are where our emotions, think about it, that's where our emotions are at their most high, right? When you enter a trade, the nerves hit, right? Unless you have conditioned yourself to remain calm and maintain an even strain. Also, when you're looking to get out of the trade, your emotions tend to run high. Your heart beats a little faster. Should I get out now? Oh, is it going against, that whole thing. Your emotions run high at the entries and exits. So tonight, we're going to focus on how to kind of maintain that and what you should be thinking and how you should be working that trade. So we do have somebody that has knocked on the door. All right. All right, Ace. Way to go. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? We were talking in the
Good.
pre-market this morning, right?
We were, yeah, sorry I'm driving, but I did have a quick question for you
Sure. What's
regarding
up?
um risk management. Some coaches will say 3%,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to start out small, let's say with $1,000 account.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see like what my risk per trade would be and what I should be trading because in the pre-market I find myself looking at a bunch of different things that are moving really quick. And
Mm-hmm.
I just really want to get the basics down if you understand what I'm saying. So I feel like I should focus on something within my budget because that's what I'm going to be trading with real money when I do get the hang of it.
Well, that is why Coach puts out the 1 to 3% rule. And that goes for no matter what size account you have. So right off the top, you're looking at what, $30, right? Would be 1% for you, I believe. What am I
Yeah,
thinking?
I'm looking at like
$10 or something like that. Hold on one second.
$30.
Yeah. Yeah, $30. So, and it may sound like it's not proportionate, but trust and believe it is, because what you're doing is you're cultivating the habit of maxing out at 3% loss tops, no matter what. Because think about it, at some point, as your account grows, so is that 3%, isn't it? You with me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So you want to get yourself acclimated to 1 to 3%, period. Now, coach will tell you as well, your risk, your own personal risk management. Now that 1 to 3% is your total account for the day. As far as each trade goes, it's up to you to determine where you're comfortable in that trade, what your risk management is. If you're putting $300 in a trade and you're comfortable, losing a certain amount, that's up to you. But it should always fall within no more than 1 to 3% for your total account as far as a loss for the day, right? So that means if you're in an account, you can't lose more than what, 5, 10 $10 if you plan on doing a couple of trades, because you don't want it to amount to more than $30. Because one day when your account's sitting at $300,000, that 3% is going to be like 3 grand, right? And you don't want to be throwing away
Yeah.
thousands of dollars. So get used to 1 to 3% of your total account. And as far as each trade, that's up to you to decide what you're willing to risk as far as risk management, just as long as it's within that 3% threshold.
Got it. And then if I want to focus on futures, which one would you suggest paper trading with in order to start getting it, like the hang of things with a account with that size?
I'll tell you, Mark paper traded oil. And one of the reasons he did that was because it was something that when he was ready to trade real money, he could start at a relatively low amount. $700 is the overnight margin for oil. And
Oh,
if you were to trade ES, what would it be, like 2 grand, 2,500 for one contract? So
yeah, it's like, yeah.
yeah, oil is $700. So he traded oil, and I think he also traded gold. He paper traded gold, but he started with oil, right? So when oil, if you're looking for something to start, practice on oil. It's got some pretty decent movement. It can chop you up, but when it runs, it really runs, and it runs well, and it's got a good return on your ticks. So I would start with oil. I would throw the like the $1,000 that you're looking to start. That's a perfect amount of money, because it's enough to trade oil when you're ready to actually go with real money, and giving yourself a $300 buffer, right?
Right.
So if you're looking to start, I would use the paper trading to get used to how oil works. Throw $1,000 or reset your account to $1,000, because that's what you're going to be trading with for real, and paper trade oil with that $1,000.
Got it. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because when we were talking, I believe it was yesterday or today, you mentioned like to figure out what kind of trader I am.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
You been
still
thinking
working
about it?
on that, but I know it wants to be futures. That's been in the back of my mind this whole time.
Well, you've nailed down that you want to do futures. That's good. Because see, there's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of shiny pennies over here. There's a lot of education out there. So
Yeah, especially with Diamond, there's like
yeah,
crypto,
you
there's
have access to
futures,
everything,
options.
right? So
Yeah.
it's so funny too, because I'm going to use the business that I used to own and run. And what we did was we had a restaurant delivery service. And when we first started, we didn't know any better. So we thought that it was really cool that we would go anywhere and pick up people's food. It basically was an earlier version of DoorDash. And we only charged a $5 delivery fee back then, right? Now we're talking 15 years ago, right? Um, but we thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And we thought, wow, everybody's going to love this. They can have their choice of any restaurant they want, $5 delivery fee. We just call us, place the order. We will place the order, go pick it up, bring it to you, $5. If you want to tip some extra, great. Okay, so it blew up eventually. But at first, we struggled. Why? Because we left it so wide open, Ace. We'll go anywhere. Diamond membership,
Oh,
you
okay.
have access to everything. So until we said, okay, I'll tell you what, there's this Chinese restaurant that everybody loved in the area. They had these specials for like $8, and it came with like the meal, and you got like an egg roll and like a soda, right? Well, what we started doing was narrowing it down to one thing: General Tso's chicken with fried rice and a soda and an egg roll, 10.99 or 15.99, including delivery. That was a lot easier for them to choose,
Okay.
right? It was a lot easier. They
Yeah.
didn't have so much to think about. Oh, I love General Tso's chicken. Oh, they'll either do chicken chow mein too. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I want Chinese. I want that. That's what I want. That price is good for me. I'll take it. So we learned to narrow it down, and that's all you're doing right now. So I love that you've narrowed it down to futures, right? So That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't get
Because
caught up in all of
I've
that hype.
I've been on Mark's lives for months now,
Hmm.
from 2 to 4, and I always want to do futures because of the risk involved. Is I feel like, to me personally, there's not as much risk as options.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what I wanted to stick to, and I did the free trial for the futures,
Hmm.
and I did the free trial for the premium. But then when I got into diamond, like, everything just came together, and I just know that I want to do futures.
Hmm.
But then in the pre-market, it's all the hot stock picks. So I feel like I'm all over the place looking for this hot stock pick, this other hot stock pick, and I'm learning, but I want to just nail it down to which future should I start with so I can practice on the ticks and the points and everything,
We'll
and then
see.
just grow from there. So I think I'm gonna stick to oil then, like you said.
That's a good idea because that's the same path Mark took. Mark honed his skills in the pre market. Remember what we talked about this morning? How quickly it can pop and drop. Get in.
Super quick,
Yep.
yeah.
Get in, get green, get out. Get in there and hone those skills. You're not in there to, you know, fall in love with hot stock picks because they don't last. They're just growth stocks. They're not value stocks that you're going to hold on to or anything like that. So who cares? A lot of times people will say, well, what's the news on it? Who cares? It's running right now. Get in, get green, get a few dollars and get out, right? You don't care about all the background of it. We're day traders. We don't marry these things. So you're in there in the morning strictly to just learn the art and the process of getting in the proper entry, what that looks like, how long you should hold, and go ahead and get out. 5 to 7 candles, looking at the L2. I've got some levels marked. It's coming to a level. Let me get out. That's what you're mastering in there. Once you master that process and you have 30, 40, 50 green trades back to back to back after a couple of weeks, go ahead and put your $1,000 in your paper trade and practice that same method on oil. When you find that you've
Yeah.
done it really, really well on paper trading on oil for a couple of weeks or a month or two, right? Oh man, I'm doing better at this than I did in the hot stock picks. I got this timing down, and it's helping you learn that one stock instead of being all over the place. Because remember, behavioral patterns,
Yeah.
right? Behavioral patterns. You're going to learn how oil acts.
Yeah, that's what I noticed this week. Because I'm up at 3:50 a.m. I'm looking at these stocks and I'm like all over the place, but they're
Yeah.
different. They're not different every day. I mean, some pop up consistently this week, but I don't know the behavior of one certain stock.
Yeah.
Or
And you don't have
so
to with hot
that
stock picks. Just get in, get green, and get out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and you'll watch.
But
You'll
with
see how they act. They pop up and then they level out. You'll begin to see all of that the more you hang out in that room.
Yeah, I didn't know that overnight you only needed $700 for the overnight
For oil.
margin on oil.
Yeah. That's why he chose oil
What's
first.
the intraday?
The intraday is about $160.
Okay,
Yeah. I've traded oil. I
got
like
it.
oil. Yeah. Oil's good and it's affordable.
You do futures as well?
I do. I tend to
Nice.
trade MES. I do micros. I do MES. I do M2K. I'll do the Russell, oil, and I've traded gold before, and I've done the euro a few times. Nano Bitcoin. If I just want to play around with that. And those are pretty much it. But yep.
Okay.
So that's a good path for you. And that'll get you familiar with scalping, and then once you get the scalping, get some paper trading under your belt with oil. It would mimic exactly what you're going to do, and then when you feel you're ready, turn that into a real $1,000 account, and then trade it just like you did with paper trading.
Yeah, I want to be more focused on what I'm gonna do, like what my plan is.
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect plan for you, and the perfect amount of money to start with, and the perfect um, future to do it with. It's right within what you want to spend right now.
Yeah, and I remember a while ago I was on one of Mark's lives on YouTube, and he told me to trade oil. Now that you
Hmm.
mention it again, I remember that he told me to start with
Universe
oil
is trying to
because I
tell you
asked it like on the
something.
chat.
Universe is trying to tell you something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, though.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this when to hold them and when to fold them, which is what we are talking about tonight. Speaking of scalping. All right. And let me not be rude. Let's see who's down in the chat. Anybody down there? Good evening, folks. Get the hell out of Dodge. L&T Motor. Wow, that's a blast from the past. What's going on? Chad H, how are you? J Dog, welcome. How the heck are we doing today, party people? We're doing awesome. Polito Cantu. Happy Thursday, ADT. Happy Thursday to you, Polito. Leonard Jones, what's going on? Vegan Knowledge JJ, hey, honey. All right. Izzy, what's up, Izzy? Welcome. Diesel Dan's in the house. American Dream Trading does not run on Dunkin' Donuts. It runs on Diesel Dan. That's right. That's our DD. Bucko. Thank you so much, Bucko, for doing that. I appreciate you so much. Got any grapes? Bucko said thousands. He said if you need 10% on a trade, the trade could go against you 10% to equal 1% loss. So 10% trade could give you 3 trades with up to 10% loss. Right. So he's basically breaking that down for you, Ace, you know, which is what we said. So each trade, if you did 3 trades, you could lose $10 on each trade.
For which one?
For 30% of your entire account. If you're trading, we established that $30 was 1% of that. That was would be 3% of that 1,000. So that means if you
Okay.
took 3 trades for the day, the max loss you want to set yourself up for is $10. And it seems like a small amount, but in the scheme of things, you're getting yourself set for that 3%. You know what I mean? That's what you want to
Yeah.
establish the habit of. So that'll help you with each trade, how much you need to risk.
So if I was to trade oil and I could only lose $10 per trade, that means I'm only trading one contract.
And that's assuming
But
you're
that
trading.
depends on the ATR, right?
I mean, you can look at that. Yeah. You know, you can set your stop according to the ATR, or you can just set it according to that risk management that we just worked out.
True.
You know what I mean?
But also, if the future moves too much, then if the ATR is too high, then I shouldn't even be on that to begin with, right?
Don't make
Because
it too
then I'm
confusing. Don't make it too confusing. You know what I mean?
okay.
All you want to do is learn oil, learn the movement. There are certain price points that you need to be aware of with oil. Like I think it kind of maxes out at $65 and has a floor. Its ceiling is around 65 to 67 and its floor is around 60, and it has all kinds of variations in the middle of that. Some days it can really run. I don't know personally what the average true range of oil is right now because I haven't traded it in a while, but don't make it too complicated. You want to just
Got it.
practice the scalping and then get in there and just watch it, you know, and you will learn what those ebbs and flows are over time.
Understood. Okay.
Right? All
I
right.
got a baby steps.
Baby steps. That's it. They add up. Trust and believe that. Hey, Robin SoFlo, how are you, brother? Mustang Chris, what is going on? Yes. Ooga booga, I'm here. Bayside Jim says, and futures has a fee, right? Features it does. It has a fee to enter and a fee to exit, right? And usually you get that all up front, right? I can't remember what oil is. I can't remember what oil is. But the cool thing is in futures, they have all of that. You have access to what those fees are. If you go over in the futures training documents, they have it all listed out. What is the fee for each ticker that each future that you go into, what the exit fee is. They give you the total. So if it's 75 cents in and 75 cents in out, they'll have $1.50 there.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
I gotta
So you
definitely
want,
gotta keep that in mind.
yep. Just go look up the futures educational info, and you'll find all of that paperwork and stuff in there. And they have videos that explain it all too. Good point. Thank you for that, Bayside Jim. Mustang Chris says CL $5 grid every $2.50 and $1.25 are support and resistance. Okay, so CL is oil. Okay, so he's saying that it's a $5 grid, and every $2.50, $2.50 and $1.25 are support and resistance. And that's something that he has figured out over probably months and months, if not years of screen time. He's learned what the average true range is, basically, is what he's spitting out there. So you will also learn that by watching it. You'll sit there, you take notes, and watch it move before you even paper trade it. Just watch it for a couple days and begin to mark out where it's resisting and where it's being supported. And you will have that same information.
And
It's better when you
thanks.
do it than just taking it from somebody else, because then you know where that information came from and it wasn't just handed to you, you know?
Yeah, I have to be in there and actually doing the trades.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Go in there and watch it. See what it
And
does.
also with futures, please correct me if I'm wrong. The cash settles right away, right? Not like options or stocks.
Correct.
So
Yep.
I
You can
could.
use the same money over and over. It is automatic margin.
Okay,
Yeah. Unlike with the cash account, you can only use what you have, right? So yeah, it's pretty lucrative. So, but it does lend itself to over trading. So you got to be careful of that. We always talk about mindset in here. And the greed monster can tend to creep up on you when you least expect it, when you have unlimited access to keep trading all day long as you're not losing your money. Because if you fall under the margin required to get contracts in oil, then you'll have to add more money. Otherwise, you can't trade anymore. So you don't want to go underneath that $160 that it cost you to get in there, or that 700. You don't want to go under the margin. Um, there is a risk that, and to me, I've had it happen once or twice where they will cut you off if you lose more than half of your contract value. They will cut you off. They don't just liquidate your entire account. That happens, I guess, maybe later on down the line, or if you're constantly doing it. But it's out there. Oh, they'll take more. They don't really. They'll liquidate your account if you lose half of your position and it's still dropping, or raising whatever you're in. It's going against you by more than 50%. They will liquidate that position, right? And whatever's left will still be in your account.
got it. Okay, awesome.
Right. So
Thank you for that info. I appreciate it. You've been helping me out since this morning.
well, that's what I do. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. Any questions you have, feel free to ask anytime,
Diamond's
okay?
definitely worth it.
Yeah, you get a lot of extra training with Diamond. You get access to so many more educational tools, so many more breakout rooms and things like that. Um, so if you guys can afford it, and Diamond right now, I think Coach had it on sale for $3,500. I don't know if it's still there. It may be back up to 5,000. But if you can afford the Diamond, it's well worth it because you get access to everything. You know. And you can be in the Zoom call from 4 a.m. all the way up until 4 p.m. 12 hours of training. Woo! That's a long time. All right. So the aftermarket, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Which is what the topic of conversation is tonight in the stock lounge. So the real skill is knowing when to exit, almost is more important than knowing when to enter. Now, we talk about enter being the most important part is your entry, right? Because you can enter wrong and all of a sudden the stock will be going against you. Normally, when you're entering wrong, means you probably didn't chart it out properly and it's immediately reaching a resistance or a support level and it's either bouncing or it's either popping or it's dropping on you. So that's the importance of charting, right? So you got to know what you're looking at and when you're getting in. The act of the exit, right? The exit strategy, your game plan. Set it before you enter. This is what we just talked about with Ace right here, right? Ace is like, okay, well, what's my risk management? Well, coach tells us to not lose more than 1 to 3% of our account. So most of us go to the higher end of that, right? Because we want to push the envelope, right? Um, so we figured out that if he has $1,000 account, $30 is his max loss for the entire day, spread out over however many trades he does, right? If he does 30 trades, he can only lose $1, right? That's all he's allowed to lose. So that is the key, right? Figuring out what that 3% is so that at the end of the day, you can live to fight another day. You still have $970 with to trade with tomorrow, right? If you stick to that, that's huge, right? So know that going in. Don't sit there and oh man, when should I get out? No, you know when to get out. If you see that a trade is going against you and you've hit your $10 threshold, say you decide to do 3 trades, divide $30 up over 3 trades, and you're sitting at $8, you know it's time for you to be thinking about getting out of that trade, right? Because it's obviously going against you. So, and it may bounce as soon as you get out. That's not your problem. You have to have the discipline to get out when you're supposed to get out, right? And if you set your stop loss for $10 from what your buy-in was, right? And back up off of it and don't touch it, let it do its job, it will stop you out. You don't have to do a mental stop with that. Set your stop to calculate for $10 from where your entry point was for each trade. We're assuming that we're at $1,000 account and 3% is our $30, right? We're ace in this example. Set each trade, if you're doing 3 trades, for whatever is going to add up to that portion of that 30% for you. I mean, that 3%. And that will be your risk management, right? And don't touch it. If it comes to it, let it stop it out, because that will take the emotion out of it for you. You're not controlling it. Oh, should I get out? Should I get? No, set the stop. The stop has no emotion, right? It's inanimate. Let the stop do its work. Oh, we got somebody else joining. Oh, that's Ace joining back in. I think he fell off. All right, you're back in. All right, so set that up. Have your trading plan before you go into trading. Have your exit plan ready, right? Emotion kills good exits. That's literally what we just talked about. If you let your emotions ride high, right? And you're sitting there with hopium thinking that this trade that is now going against you is going to miraculously turn around and go back in your direction, you got a problem. And you need to kill that emotion. And you can kill it by using a stop loss. Stop loss has no emotion. Set the stop. It'll get you out when you're supposed to get out. And don't move it. Don't touch it. Remember, I said the other day, you are in control, gang. You set the stop. You leave it alone. Let it do its work. Don't jump in there and change anything, right? And have those parameters set and know them before you go into your trade, right? We want you to win. All right. Next slide is the biggest mistake is emotional attachment to your positions. That's what we were just talking about, right? So if you're in a trade and all of a sudden you decide, well, I know it looks like it's going against me right now, but look, overall it's in the uptrend, right? So it should go back up, right? No, you're talking yourself out of getting out of a losing trade. You're emotionally attached, right? So once again, a way to emotionally detach from your trading and what you should be doing is to use the tools like stop losses. There is no emotion attached to it. Figure out what your percentage is that you need to be set at and set it and forget it. Right? And set it and forget it. So that way you don't have to have emotion in the trade. You shouldn't be emotionally attached to any type of position. Another thing, somebody tell me another thing that'll help us not be so emotionally attached to our trade. Somebody down in the chat. Ace, you have any idea what would help us not be so emotionally attached?
Paper trading.
Yeah, for sure. Paper trading. Although you should trade like it's real, because that'll help you with your mental mechanics as well, right? You should
True.
act just like it's real. You really should. Treat it like it's real because you need to practice mental mechanics. Because remember, probably a good 85 to 90% of trading is mental. So if you act like your paper trading account is a real account and lose yourself in the fact that, okay, this is the real deal, your emotions will be there for you, and you got to learn how to control them. So the best place to learn how to control them is while you're paper trading, right? But there's
Right.
another thing that coach tells us that helps us to let the runners run. Anybody know what I'm talking
Shedding.
about? What was that?
Shedding.
Nope, not shedding. There's something that'll really help you just kind of relax in that trade. Jeffrey, what's going on? Ken Mayfield, the songwriter. Gummies. Kevin Stallings. Thank you, Kevin Stallings. Where's my bell, damn it? I'm giving Kevin the bell. Kevin Stallings. Smaller position size. Right? Smaller position size, Ace. If you're going in, say you take oil, right? And you're not putting 7 or 8 contracts at one time, which you shouldn't anyway when you first start. You're only doing 1 contract or 2 contracts, right? Maybe 3. You're risking what? $300 at the most here, right? Which is,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that will help you. If you've got the whole 1,000, your whole account at risk, that makes you trade a little squeamishly because you could be losing a ton of money with that. If you have a heavier position, you're going to lose a lot more quicker. So that $1,000 will get burned up real quick if you do that. Whereas if you just get 1 or 2 contracts, you're risking at the most $320 at one time with 2 contracts. And if you put your risk management in there, you're only risking like 10% of that, right? Or 5% or 2%
Makes
of
sense.
that, right? So small position sizes allow you to hold on to trades when they're going in your direction and let them work when they do a slight pullback, but don't necessarily do a full reversal. It's not as painful.
Got it. So keeping oil as an example, right? Let's
Uh-huh.
say like we do the $300 example
Okay.
and we're on an uptrend and then there's a pullback. We shred 50, which it would be one, and then the other one we would just let it run, or should we just shred the whole thing?
Well, if you've only got two, then you would shed one. You would shed 50% and then let the trade work, right? If it looks like it's going to continue against you, then go ahead and get all the way out,
Okay,
right?
got it.
So, yeah, if it looks like it's
Because
continuing,
you can't do partials or anything like that, right?
no, not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like a half a share out or a half a contract out. Yeah, no, it's, yeah, nope.
It's either one or none.
Yep. So, yep. So that's what we want to focus on. Do not be emotionally attached to your positions. So use your stop losses to help you get out and trade with smaller position size so that your emotions aren't so heavy in the trade. Rules to live by. Cut your losses fast and let your winners run. We hear Coach say this all the time, right? Cut your winners fast. And I said something the other day that, people were telling me resonated with them. We tend to let our losses be big, but let our gains be small, right? And we need to learn how to reverse that. We need to stop losing a lot of money. And when it goes against you, go ahead and cut that thing, man. Cut the band, rip off the band aid, get out of it. If it's going past your 1% or whatever it is that your risk management is that you set up, I mean, and it shouldn't be doing that because you should have the stop, you know. But say you're in a trade in the pre-market and there are no stops available. You should have that mental stop already worked out in your mind of how much you're willing to lose in that trade, right? I do it in the morning all the time, Ace. Like if I'm in like a $5 stock and say I get like five of them, right? $25, right? Well, what I'll do is I will set, instead of going with the 1 to 3 and all of that and setting a stop, which I can't do, I'll say, okay, I'll go ahead and do, I'll lose $5. I'm comfortable with a $5 loss on this one. If I'm risking 25, I'm comfortable with a $5 loss on this one, right? And when I get to that 5, I'm out. Period. You know, period. And
Yeah, I had
luckily,
trouble with that this
hopefully,
morning actually.
did you? What happened?
I stayed in the trade too long with the paper trading. I feel like, my mind just messing with me, telling me, "Oh, it'll come back up," but then it went from 10% to 15%, and I finally cut at 18% when I knew it was bad at 10.
Yeah, yeah. The only way to stop that is to just stop and practice stopping over and over and over again. You don't want to practice holding on to losing trades because that'll become a habit when you get into real trading, right? Learn how to
Yeah,
cut it early.
uh, I have trouble with how to do it off of scalping. When it crosses the 9, then I'm out. Would you say, in your opinion, or
I
is there
usually
other things that go into effect?
I usually do the 21, right? But it depends on how far up above the 9 that it is, right? So if the candles are riding high above the 9, I will use the 9 as my out. if the candles are riding the 9 and then they break below the 9 and hold below the 9, right? I might give them a chance to bounce back up off the 21. If it breaks the 21, I am out. And if I have more than one share or more than one contract, I'm out, period, all the way. As it's going down, I am shedding. So if it breaks the 9, I shed, right? If it hits the
Okay.
21, I shed some more. If it goes under the 21, I'm out with whatever I've got in there.
Okay. See, I wasn't doing that. I was just waiting for it to hit the 200 maybe.
Oh, hell no. Mm-mm. No,
Yeah,
no.
that was bad.
Yeah, you wanna be out at the 21 max, right? Some people will
So
take
I'm
it to
glad
the
it was paper
55,
trade.
but yeah, yeah. Practice that if it's way above the 9, when it gets to the 9, shed. If it breaks under the 9, shed some more. If all you have is left, if you've got 2 and all you have left is 1 and it breaks under the 9, you might want to see if it bounces back up and then use the 21 as your out, right? If you have 3 contracts, shed if it hits the 9, shed again if it goes under the 9, and be all the way out under. But if you only have 2 shares or contracts, shed when it hits the 9 and shed when it goes under the 9. There's no sense in waiting for that to keep going down on you. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's my goal for next week is practicing shedding. This week it was more mechanics and
mhm,
getting everything started, but next week I'm definitely going to practice on shedding because I left money on the table for that.
cool. Cool. And I like the way you're chopping it up in sections. That's good. So as not to overwhelm yourself. That's really good. Let your runners run. So let's talk about the opposite of that, right? If you've had situations where you've taken huge losses or you've lost, you tend to jump out too early and not let the runners run. If that stock or future is above the 9 and it has broken and held and it is staying above the 9, even if it pulls back a little bit, right? But it has not broken the 9, hang out. Trust your indicators. There's no need to jump all the way out if it has not broken below the 9 yet. I've seen things tap the 9, ride the 9, but stay above the 9 all day long, right? Or at least for a good hour, right? So as long as it's riding above the 9, stay in it, right? Let those runners run. When it shows you something different, like it's no longer stair stepping to the up or down side and it starts curling under like it wants to do a boot up, or getting heavy on the vine like it wants to curve to the downside, you know what's going to happen. We've all seen these trades a million times now. Palm has talked about rounded bottoms, rounded tops. Coach talks about heavy on the vine. If you see that, go ahead and get out. It's telling you I'm about to plummet, right? So, and then get yourself set up for the other direction, especially if it's at a double top or a double bottom. All right, know when to hold, right? Position moving your way plus plan intact equals hold, right? So that's what we literally just talked about. We just talked about when to get out and when to hold, which I should have clicked on this slide, was what we just talked about. When to let the runners run. And that's if it's moving in your direction. And this morning, Ace and I looked at one where the 9 was headed to the upside and it already crossed over the 21. The 21 was up. So was the 55. So was the 200. Everything was above VWAP and it was headed to the upside. That's the perfect scenario, right? And all of the candles were above the 9. That's the perfect scenario. That's when you hold. If it's running like that and everything is lined up, there's nothing telling you to get out of that trade but your own fear, right? That it's going to knife drop. And if it does, you've already got a stop in place to protect you from that. Or you should, right? So that's why those things are in place. That's why it's important to follow coach's rules, because they protect your money. They help you make money, but they protect the money that you have and that you're making in the process, right? It's more important to protect it. All right, know when to fold, right? Plans broken, losses growing, get out now. Right? So if it starts going against you, once again, no hopium, don't continue to let it, build up a loss. Go ahead and rip off the band-aid. And you know that because we just talked about when to get out of your trades, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions about what we talked about?
When it comes to like focusing on the pre-market, do you already have the levels marked out before you even jump into a trade, or are you just looking at the nine?
A lot of times, if we've traded it before, I'll pull up a chart and I'll already have lines on there. And you'll find that stocks tend to respect lines, even if you've put them on there a long time ago. That's why we put them on there, so that we know when it's most likely to bounce. They tend to repeat the same behaviors and bounce off the same lines. So usually when I pull up something, we've probably traded it before. If we haven't, I don't have lines on there. So the first thing that I do is throw some lines on there. And I do that by going to the 4 hour, right? You saw
Okay.
me do it this morning. I go to the 4 hour and look historically in relation to where it's trading in that moment. I'll put a line at where it's topped out and where it's bottomed out. And then I'll go put a 4 hour up and go back in time and see where there's levels that are within that range. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I've got a ceiling today of $3.50 and a floor of $2, I'll put those lines in there. Then I'll put it on the 4 hour and see, okay, where past 50 cents could this now double top at? Say it passes 350. Where can it go to and double top on me and pull back? That's what I'm looking for. What's the next level beyond my 350? Where are those levels? So the 4 hour goes back long enough to help you establish, at least for a couple months, where it went. So that helps you put more lines in there because it's not going to give it to you that day because it's only worried about what you see right now, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean, you just kind of answered my question, my next question as well, because I was wondering what makes a gold level, whether it's just the pre-market and previous day high, or is it just
Mm-mm.
like 4 hours and going back in time and seeing what bounced off of that
You want to
level?
see how many times it hit certain areas, and the 4 hour is excellent for that. Richard goes back 1 year. So that's
Oh, wow.
even better. Yeah, that's even better. 1 year and 1 day. So you'll get even more information there, right? But you want to see where it's hit. Three or more times is a minimum, right? Three or more times is considered like a gold level. If it's hit an area at least three to four times,
Okay.
right? You want to make that a gold level. And obviously the more times it hit that area, the better. And
That
make it gold.
that's where I found myself struggling this week was just putting the lines on every single different stock that came up
Uh-huh.
and looking for those gold levels before I get into entry.
That's good
But
practice.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good practice because you should get in the habit of doing that. That's first thing you should do. When somebody calls something out, don't jump in it, chart it out. Chart it out. That should be the first thing that you do. That way, if that stock ever comes back up again, you've already got lines on there like a lot of us do already. First thing you should do is chart it out. Find those levels, find what's gold, what's not so gold, right? Oh, I can only went here a couple times, but it did go here, so I'm going to mark it. I'll just make it like light blue. Oh, it went here like 12 times. I'm making that gold, right? So, yep, chart it out, and that way you know. And do
and then you
it.
mentioned something about 5 to 7
Mm-hmm.
candles. Like if it's already past 5 to 7 candles, then you should take a step back or something like
It's going to
that.
take a step back, usually. Not all the time. Sometimes I've seen them run, run, run. But typically, when they reach 5 to 7 candles in that neighborhood, they tend to want to breathe a little bit. And you can see where they're possibly going to breathe to by checking that, having your levels marked and looking at the L2. It'll show you where those pullback areas are going to happen. Remember the bid side? It's going to start lighting up at the
Yeah.
top of the bid. It's going to start lighting up a little bit with some of those areas. Those are going to be where your pullback areas are.
Okay. I'm good with analogies, and I thought of the L2, just the green
Uh-huh.
side. It's kind of like when you jump on a trampoline, it pushes you back up on the green side. Is that a good way to think about it? When it touches that level, it just pushes you back up.
Yeah, if that's what it does. Sometimes it'll it'll be a hole in it. Sometimes
Okay.
it'll be a hole in it, and you think you're gonna bounce
Because of the phantom
falling through it.
orders.
Yeah, there could be orders you don't see. It could be somebody throwing a support in at the last minute, like it's about to clear up this one support and another one comes in right under it. But damn, I already put my money in right here, right?
It could be a pump
Yep,
fake.
yep. So
Okay.
I like to let it settle. And another thing is, I like to always confirm any levels I see on the L2. I need to make sure that they are already on my chart, right? I need to make sure that those levels are valid on my chart. I'm not just going to take for granted that because there's 10,000 orders sitting at $5.40 that that's a valid order. That could be somebody trying to play games. So I'm going to go to $5.40 on the chart and see how many times it actually did hit there in the past, right? Back it up. Don't just take the L2's word for it. Go look and see if it's ever hit that area before. And if it has, especially several times, well, then that's a valid area and go ahead and wait in the weeds at that level. And that way you'll get picked up and you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Back it up. Make sure it's real. That's how I do that. Shout out to Ken Mayfield. Ken, you are an excellent songwriter. You know that? I love The Best Life. That is a great song, bud. Kevin Stallings. Taco Bell. God, no. Get out of here with that Taco Bell. Is that Richard's like name? Like he's hiding under the name Kevin Stallings? Kevin getting the Taco Bell prize. Oh my God. Joe Crow, welcome. Set a good stop and don't change it. Absolutely, Joe. We just said that a little while ago. Thank you for backing that up. Cool beans, Ken Mayfield. I'm glad you're getting some good education. For Richard, it is. So now Richard's got people in here, Ace, getting Taco Bell for him. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Richard, man. I have to have a conversation with old Richard. I'm like, don't be sending people in to get Taco Bell. All right,
Taco Bell is pretty good. You don't think
I
so?
used to. I'm a vegan. I don't eat it anymore. But I used to. But I tell you what, little you guys are gonna think I'm weird, right? Lentils. We have learned how to cook lentils in such a way that we put some taco seasoning on them. I swear they taste just like Taco Bell soft tacos. Taste just like their beef. Go figure. Lentils, right? If you cook them just right, because they use that really choppy beef. So I think he dropped out. Yep. You there?
Yep, I could hear you. I lost
Yep.
you there a little bit.
Yep. But yeah, lentils. If you cook lentils up right, they taste just like, and you put the taco seasoning in there, they taste just like Taco Bell. So I used to always get soft tacos. But yep, that is the way to go for the vegan people. All right, gang. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here with Coach's
Okay,
rules.
okay.
Huh? You there? I'm gonna go ahead and end with Coach's rules. If you got anything out of tonight, please go ahead and leave a comment in the Traders Lounge. Let Coach know that you got something from the aftermarket. It was a good show. You learned something, and I hope you did. Yeah, I don't want you lying. If you didn't learn, you didn't learn, but hopefully you did. And I want everybody to have a good night. Don't forget AmericanDreamTrading.com. The link is pinned to the top of this live chat. It's also located in the description of the video. If you want to send me a tip because you think I did a good job, it's much appreciated. Not mandatory, but it is much appreciated. It does help me pay my bills. So that link is in the description of the video as well as the top of the live chat. Everybody have a great night. Ace, do you have any more questions about anything before we leave, honey?
No, I think that'll be it. Well, I'll be there in the morning.
I'll be there in the morning too. I was just about to say I'll see you in the morning then. And any questions, just write them down and have them for us in the morning.
Sounds good. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody have a great night. Ken, you pick it, Ken. Are we going with the American Dream Trading tonight, or are we going with the Best Life? I might end up playing them both because I have OCD if I don't play the regular one. Let's see here. Don't forget to go to AmericanDreamTrading.com. Ken, help me. James L., what's up, bud? Night, James. Hopefully you feel better, brother. Look, he snuck in here at the end, Ace. Did you see that?
I did
Mustang
see that.
Chris. Taco Bell voted #1 Mexican restaurant. American Dream Trading. All right, you called it. The songwriter himself called it. So everybody have a great night, and we're gonna start off with Coach's rules. Ace, I'll talk to you in the morning, honey.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
You guys remember all the rules. You must follow all of them. Not some. You don't get to sprinkle in your own and leave mine out. You must follow all the rules. Always have a stop loss in each and every trade. If you're a new trader, make sure you are simulate trading only using a paper account. I don't want anybody losing their money while you are in training. Make sure you guys are using small position sizes. This will allow you to let those runners run and stop out the losers. Again, stops on every trade, regardless of shares, options, futures, or crypto. Make sure you guys are journaling every single day. It's one of the most important pieces of what we do on top of the risk management so that you can help assess what you are doing and make the changes that you need to do. Don't trade in the first 30 minutes or the last hour of the day if you're a new trader. And if you are an experienced trader, please be careful the first 3 minutes or the last 8 minutes of the trading day.
I was stuck in the cycle, just spinning my wheels, chasing time, losing sleep, forgetting how to feel. Dreams collecting dust on a shelf in my mind, till I found a spark, a way to realign. Not just numbers, charts, or lines on a screen. Was a mirror that showed who I could be. American dream trading, you opened the door, gave me the tools, now I'm asking for more. No more waiting for life to decide. You gave me the pen so I can rewrite. From fear to focus, from doubt to drive, I found my strength, now It's not about luck, it's learning to lead, turning every loss into a seed. Now I grow with every rise and fall, standing tall, no dreams too small. American dream being traded, you show me the way, turn my dark into light, my night into day. Now I'm writing my future in my own hand, with purpose, with power, with a brand new plan. From stuck to soaring, from fear to flight, you help me rewrite my life. Yeah, I'm trading more than stocks, I'm trading pain for pride. Thanks to the dream, now rewrite my life.